Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're looking into a really long-standing issue, the India-Pakistan relationship.
Yeah, often tense, always complex.
Our source is a podcast by Syed Hussein called No More India-Pakistan War.
And our aim really is to unpack the arguments he's making for, well, moving past conflict.
Exactly. Get to the heart of it.
It all goes back fundamentally to 1947, doesn't it? The partition.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the years since then, it's just marked by repeated conflict.
Despite the huge human cost, which is something Hussein really emphasizes.
Right. His podcast, it's interesting, the tagline is Zenyat, Aman Fikr Takikot.
Which translates to peace, thought, inquiry. Sets a certain tone, doesn't it?
It really does. A thoughtful one.
And he kicks off by reminding us about the big conflicts 47, 65, 71, Kargil.
But he frames it very personally.
Yeah, in terms of loss.
Yeah.
You know, fathers losing sons, mothers losing children. It makes it very real.
And that leads him to ask this really fundamental question.
Which is,
have these wars actually solved anything? Or have they just, created more wounds, deeper divisions?
it's a powerful question. Did the fighting actually achieve lasting solutions?
Probably not, seems to be his answer. Or at least it's worth asking.
So then he shifts to the present day. And this is where it gets quite stark.
Mm-hmm. You got two nations, both nuclear powers,
Huge military.
huge militaries, but at the same time,
They're both facing massive challenges internally. Poverty, unemployment, issues with education access.
yeah, big societal problems. And Hussein highlights this contrast.
This disconnect between military spending and, well, human development needs.
Exactly. It forces you to ask, where should the resources actually go?
Right. Is it defense or is it schools, hospitals, jobs?
It's presented as a fundamental choice the countries face.
And he doesn't shy away from the politics either. He talks about something called the political trade of hatred.
Which is quite a phrase. What does he mean by that?
Well, he suggests, and remember we're reporting his view here, that maybe for some political actors on both sides, keeping tensions high, keeping that animosity going, might actually be politically useful.
Like for winning votes or consolidating power?
That seems to be the implication.
Yeah.
And he also points a finger, gently perhaps, at media narratives.
Saying they sometimes focus on the negative, foster fear.
Yeah, that can happen, creating suspicion between ordinary people.
But, and this is important, he contrasts that with what he sees as the reality for most people.
You mean everyday Indians and Pakistanis?
Exactly. He emphasizes they share the same basic wants, peace, a decent livelihood, education for their kids.
That common ground, it often gets lost in the political noise, doesn't it?
It really does. Which leads him to his kind of core message.
Which is one of hope, right?
Very much so. He's calling to break this cycle, to stop the hate.
And actually envision a different future,
Yeah.
like friendship instead of conflict.
Precisely. He even mentions culture, Bollywood, Lollywood, things that can perhaps unite people.
Promoting humanity, love over war. Insanyat or mohabbat, as he puts it.
Yeah, and it all boils down to his main slogan, no more war, Sir Famanon. Only peace.
A very clear call to action.
Absolutely.
So just to recap this deep dive, we looked at Syed Hussein's podcast, touching on the history of conflict,
The current situation with nuclear weapons versus societal needs.
the politics that might keep divisions alive.
And ultimately, his argument for a future built on peace and cooperation.
It leaves us, and you listening, with a pretty big question, I think.
Which is?
Well, think about it. Can those shared human desires for just peace, for a better life, can they actually overcome decades of history, political maneuvering, and, well, deeply ingrained suspicion?
It's about the power of individual voices, maybe,
Yeah.
and collective will. Can that really shift things in the region? Something to reflect on.